What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, I wanted to just address something with the whole Dec-B or Dec batteries issue that I'm seeing, and then two things that I wanted to talk about. So first of which is that, you know me, I'm the Bitcoin maxi. I don't like new tokens. So generally, you would have been correct in thinking that I would be super against this. And for the most part, I don't like the precedent that it sets, but I do realize the somewhat desperation that the economy is in right now and why we need to stop the bleeding in order to just right the ship. So that's why I am for this, mainly because, and this is important, it is limited both in time, 60 days, and quantity. A total of 2 billion Dec-B will be minted. And so, sure, if it, we could always get more in the future if the DAO decides to propose it and pass it, the community decides to pass it. But as of right now, I'm okay with giving this a shot. I don't think that it is going to be, I'm not seeing the negatives that people are putting out there. And in fact, the whole reason for this video is because I wanted to address one major negative, which is this idea that you are reducing demand in the future and creating inflation for DEC. Now, technically correct. You will now be able to burn vouchers to mint more DEC, which isn't great. Right? So trust me, I understand that. I actually like the vouchers getting some utility here just because they haven't had anything else. But I can understand that argument, and that's probably as far as I'll go to say, like, if they remove the voucher thing, I'm not opposed to that. In fact, it's not that I want it. It's just I'm not opposed to it. It is what it is. But when we're talking about DEC specifically, let's say vouchers aren't involved. Okay. What is the inflation rate for DEC going to be on a very small scale? And I'm going to show you why it's a small scale. You need, we'll be able to burn 1.6 billion DEC for 2 billion DEC batteries, right? So that's a 25% inflation on that small amount, not on the entire amount of DEC that's in existence, which is roughly 6.3 billion, but on that small amount of 2 billion, which I guess is, 30%, 33%. So it's not that small. But the point that I'm trying to get at here is you're going to have inflation on there for future demand. You're going to be reducing that future demand because all of a sudden we'll be able to get it at a discount, but you will be helping the economy right now. Now, here's why I'm not so worried about the future. Take a look at guilds, okay? Right now, guilds burn, to get your guild hall to a max level, it's what, we'll just call it like 2 million DEC, but every building is like this. If you go across not the lodge, but like the arena, they all kind of have this sliding scale up. So I don't know what it costs, but I think it's like probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 10 million DEC in order to fully max out your guild. Now, there's going to be guild alliances in the future, which will hopefully have more DEC and voucher sinks. But when we talk about land, the reason that I'm bringing guilds up is because it's the only kind of buildings that we have, that we're able to upgrade and level up over time. So I think about land and I think to myself, okay, if we are going to have 150,000 plots and each plot is going to do something measly, in my opinion, let's just say 100,000 DEC. Okay, so not even close to like the 10 million that go for guilds, but guilds, you have up to 30 members that are coming in. It's more of a team building thing, and there's a lot of other aspects that go into it. Whereas land, it's usually owned by one person, and so therefore 100,000, sure, seems appropriate. Some people are gonna look at that and be like, oh, that's way too much. I look at that and say, okay, 100,000 for land, I think that's way too little, but let's go ahead and run the numbers. I'm going to pull out my handy dandy calculator. 100,000 DEC times 150,000 plots. Okay, we're being optimistic here and assuming that every land owner and every land plot is going to get leveled up and maxed out over time. It's 15 billion DEC. That's 2.5 times the amount that exists today. So when we talk about pulling from future demand, this is why I'm okay with it. And this is why I think the team is proposing this as well. And for in a rare moment over the past couple of months, I actually agree with them. I don't think it is a problem to pull 1 billion or actually it's not even 1 billion, 400 million DEC worth of demand, if you're going to be putting in at least 15 billion of sinks within the next year or so. So I'm totally okay with it, and I wanted to present these numbers to you because, again, the 100,000 DEC I think is actually quite small. I wouldn't be surprised if land is a long-term game and it takes you a long time both to play the game, to use land, as well as to acquire the assets and resources to level it all up. Nobody's going to have a maxed land that, a week after it comes out. I think it's going to be something like guilds where you'll have to use it. It'll have to be part of something. You'll get some other kind of crowns or whatever, there'll be for land that will stop you from just paying your way all the way to the top. But, there's going to be elements there in which you can potentially burn more DEC to get it faster, right? So again, I don't know how this is all going to work. I am excited about it. But when I look at these numbers, 100,000 plots, or 150,000 plots with 100,000 DEC is a hell of a lot of DEC that's going to be required in the future. So, again, even if we cut this in half and say that maybe half the plot owners don't decide not to do anything, I mean, that's still 7.5 billion. 7.5 billion, which is more than the amount that is currently in circulation right now. So this is where people get excited about the flywheel, right? We just need these things. And the problem is that from a development standpoint, we're not going to get them right away. But in order to stop the bleeding of the tokens, in order to stop this kind of vicious death cycle that's happening where people are selling SPS and selling DEC and the whales are just trading DEC back and forth, we need to find some kind of floor. And so I am fully in favor of this. I'm trying to share these numbers with you guys so you can see where I'm coming from and why I don't think that it is as big of a deal when we talk about a 25% DEC inflation on a fixed number, right? 1.6 billion DEC that is pulling demand from a future which will have 7, 8, 15, who knows, maybe even 30 billion DEC required. I don't mind pulling from that. So I don't mind pulling from that if it's going to help us stabilize the economy right now. That being said, the other issue is people think that this is going to take a lot of dev resources. And if it is going to take a lot of dev resources, then I can understand that. That's something we'll need to get clarified when we have the town hall on Monday. But I would assume that if the team is proposing this, it's because they need it. It's because this is the desperation moment that we are in right now. And sure, you can look at this and be like, okay, you know what? I'm not really happy with the direction Splinterlands is going. I'm out. And that's fine, right? But I am trying to, as opposed to where I was a couple months ago with the Rift Watchers for DEC, I am trying to take a much more nuanced approach, a much more open-minded approach to seeing, like, why would the team be proposing this? It feels like this is a high priority for them. And I know that the game and improving the game is a high priority too. So if they're proposing this, then it's got to be something important. And I'm not supporting it blindly. I'm trying to give you the evidence and show you exactly why I think it is a good idea, or at least a good effort to try right now, because I think the downside is minimal. The downside is minimal. The upside is not infinite, but the upside could get us to exactly where we're trying to go. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next one, and I'll see you around the game. Take care.